when I think about how I've networked, like it's not your typical showing up to an event, shake a bunch of hands, exchange business cards and all that stuff. In fact, I haven't been to a conference in 3 years. And before that, it was like another 2 years. I've only gone to two conferences since I started the business in
Hmm.
2015. So it's definitely not how I've been networking. For me, it's more about, I would almost call it like a network where we exchange value. So when I think about how I built my business, a lot of my business comes in through referrals from people who don't do what I do, but they do something somewhat complementary. So like a content marketer, an SEO agency, sometimes like a designer, for example. And what I've done is, like a big part of my process. If I'm on a sales or like a discovery call, one of the questions I'll always ask is, so like, what else are you guys working on? Are you trying to find anyone who does something else? And what's happened is, I've been doing this. I'm in this SaaS business now for 7 years. I know who the top content people are, who the top designers are. And so I make it a point to make sure that I'm connecting prospects with those types of people, good people. And this obviously does a few things that work in my favor. For one, I'm adding value to the client immediately before there's been any like exchange of money or anything. So I think this increases the likelihood that we're actually going to end up working together. I don't have any hard data on this, but the fact that I'm useful from the very beginning is obviously good. So then the person that I'm sending them to, obviously they're going to be noticing a pattern that they're making a lot of money off the fact that I keep sending them work. And as we all know, like the law of reciprocity, they're going to start to feel like maybe I should start sending Josh some work when someone mentions copy, or there's an opportunity for copy, and that happens. Like we're always sending clients back and forth. Um, Another thing that happens is if I send a prospect to a good contact and they have a good experience over there and they're still in need of copy, I know that the person that I've sent them to is also going to say good things about my abilities. And so I'm sure they help me close work. It kind of acts as like we're almost like creating like a little like net of value around them. And it's not like done in a malicious or manipulative way. We all believe in each other's work. And so they're going to say nice things about me. And that obviously helps me close the deals as well. So like top of mind, people like Kaylee Moore, Brooklyn Nash, Adrian Barnes, like these are people that I've been sending referrals to for years now, and they've all been doing the same as well, and that's been huge for me in terms of how I've grown my business and like yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I agree. And I would even extend it to people who do the same thing that you do because, um, I mean, hey, you're a good example for me. You've had times where someone comes along and for whatever reason, you can't take on the project or it's not a perfect fit or whatever, and you send it my way. And we've had at least one example where that was like huge for me, led to like a really, really great long-term relationship with a client. And I think I might have sent someone back your
You
way at
sent
some
Circle
point.
to me.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so there we go. Reciprocity, and everyone wins. Like it's not like you and I are sitting here like, haha, we sure tricked those clients into like,
Yeah.
like we all helped each other and everyone's better off for it. So yeah, and for me, I think of like you said before networking that you don't go to a lot of conferences. So I really like conferences. What I don't like are like the little meetups where like I live in New York, so there are a million of these things and like whatever, tech meetup, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
When things were slow, I forced myself to go to those things because it felt like, okay, I should be hitting the pavement or something like that. I hated those things, and I don't think anything ever materialized from any of that. For me, the conferences, there's just more of like um, I guess people have put more on the line to be there, and so there's a little bit more of a sense of, and usually there's a community around it. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to that for copywriters, there's TCC IRL, which I've been to several times, which has been useful for networking. I've gone to Unbounce's conference, CXL. I'm going to go to their conference in Austin in October. So I do like those. But yeah, as I think you have proven that networking doesn't have to mean like in-person stuff. So much of it can
Yeah.
just be things like just connecting to people. And also even smaller stuff, if there's someone you look up to, like promote their, they share something on social media, promote it, leave a nice comment about it. Again, like not trying to be manipulative, be genuine in it, but show up on people's radars.
Yeah.
I
Actually,
think, yeah, go ahead.
so I was just going to say, related to that, something I didn't mention was like the referrals and all that is great. But the other thing that I do to support people that I really believe in is kind of like what you said. If they do a launch, I might go a step further than simply like tweeting about it. I'll often buy a seat and ask and say like, hey, you can donate this seat to someone who you think can't afford it, and they're obviously appreciative because that's money in their pocket and they get to have an extra person in their thing. Or if they're raising money for a cause, like donate some money. Like just think of ways like find a small group of people. This is just me. I don't go wide, I go narrow. And so I like to find like a small group of people that I really believe in, and I'm looking for ways to support them whenever I can. And it always pays off.
Yeah. And I think the key underlying all of this is what you said earlier. It's reciprocity, and not reciprocity as in like, oh, I read Influenced by Cialdini and I'm going to like use the reciprocity principle on you. But more of just like, yeah, it's good for all of us. So,
Yep.
you help other people, they'll help you.
100%.